project, I got the opportunity to read the book of James in the Bible. Along with reading James, I looked at many biblical resources like ESV Bible that quotes the main message of James as, quote, "The main message of James is that those who have been truly saved through the gospel must manifest that salvation in practical ways in their lives," end quote. I find a key word in this excerpt, that being practical. People who read James don't always apply the message in a practical way, which is why it can be misleading and misinterpreted.
So my NHD project is on the book of James and how people misinterpret and manipulate the text to better benefit themselves. So this is Raph. I'm interviewing him to see what he thinks how people manipulate the text of the Bible. So, how do you think people manipulate the text of the Bible, if you do think so?
Well, I think that people who aren't Christians might think like a lot of the stories in the Bible are kind of like weird. Like if I'm giving an example, like the parable of the lost son, for example. Like that just seems like a kind of weird story, and like one thing that a lot of people misinterpret from the Bible is that God is not a God who's just gonna like completely punish you for any bad things that you've done. Like He wants you to be good. He wants you to go to heaven someday, and that's my answer. Is that good?
Yeah, that is good.
Okay.
Do you think, this is a shot in the dark question, do you think that God gives people answers to their prayers for their own personal gain or for what they personally need?
Well, probably definitely for their personal need, because if they just pray just because they want something that it really isn't necessary, especially if it's for something that's like bad that they might want, then God's not gonna give that to them. But is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, so this is Caleb. Yep. So yeah, how do you think people should incorporate the text from the Bible into their lives?
I think that they should practice it and read and pray about it like every day and ask God to help them with it.
Okay. Yeah, do you think that people manipulate the text of the Bible for like personal gain or like stuff like that?
I think that like some do, like not.
Perfect.
The main tragedy in the book of James is people manipulate verses in James for their personal gain. James 4:6 says, "God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble." The tragedy comes in this verse by people who say that they are humble, but a person who is truly humble will never admit to being humble, therefore they are only proud. The triumph in James comes closer to the beginning of James, at James 1:5, which states, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generosity to all without finding fault." Now God sees all of our sins and yet forgives our faults, which is what the end of the verse is saying. When starting this project, I believed that James was a triumph and nothing more. But after doing more in-depth research, I have come to the conclusion that James is a triumph and a tragedy. The Bible can be taken in many different ways, but James must be taken with a clear mind and with no desire to gain personally, but rather spiritually. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generosity to all without finding fault, and will not doubt you. Because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. that person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position, but the rich should take pride in their humiliation, since they will pass away like a wildflower from the sun with scorching heat and withers the plant. Its blossoms fall and its beauty is destroyed.